Yeah. Oh, okay, agree. Now we're there. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. My name is Anthony Pampone. I am chairing this meeting tonight. It is 6:04 on May the 8th, and I'm calling this meeting to order. First thing we have on the agenda is approval of our minutes from our April 10th meeting. Has everyone been able to, let's do a roll call real quick because I'm in a rush. My name is Anthony Tampone. I'm the chair of the ZBA. I'll go around the room and everybody just stay there.
Ian Lafletta,
Eugene Foley.
Colin Donaldson, Carl Hector.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so moving on to minutes. Everyone, any revisions or thoughts? Good, all right, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Someone second? Yeah, somebody make me a motion, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Make a
motion to approve.
Okay.
I second it.
All right, all in favor? All right, minutes are approved. All business, we have 303 Clinton Avenue is trying to put up a sign. And we have already done did we close the public hearing?
No.
We did not, okay. All right, so we opened a public hearing on this. We have some more info on how we can deal with this, and we are still need to close the public meeting. So, yes, if you would like to close that door, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
So they were going to come back with additional information.
Yeah. If you could just introduce yourself.
Yes, sorry. My name is Tyson McPadison. I'm from Timely Signs. We're on behalf of Bosch Keegan Sada.
Okay, awesome.
And I have, I don't know if you guys got them. I sent it to the kitchen. I only have a couple of extra copies. So
I think this is just a color version of what we already have in it.
okay, because it was asked that there was additional measurements taken.
The measurement,
Right on
yeah.
the second page here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. I was at the last meeting. There was somebody else working on my behalf. So
Yeah, okay. So one of the issues we have here is conceptually, well, before I move on, does anybody have any questions about any of this information or have any other questions for the applicant?
I think the original plan was to put the sign up so that when people are driving by, they could see the building, right? So if they're driving by, they're whizzing by. So maybe that sign lettering should be a little, bigger. Because you have all these other little bars underneath. I don't know what they say.
So those are the attorneys that are in that firm there. So really the whole point is to be able to see the Bosch Keegan and Spada.
Right.
I mean, people generally know where they are, but as you guys probably realize, the building is set back from the road, so it's difficult for a regular sign to work in this situation.
Yeah, it's even difficult trying to get into the place. because you
Correct.
have to go around
So
that.
the goal here is to make it people aren't whizzing by, slam on the brakes, causing traffic issues, etc. So hopefully they'll see that in sooner time there. I mean, honestly, I'd be happy to make it larger if you guys will accept that.
Well,
But just throw that out there,
there's another issue with that. Based on the design of our code, right, the idea of a freestanding sign is considered to be like an automobile-centric sign, right? Like, the idea of like kind of this monument thing that the giant Kingston Plaza sign on Washington Avenue is the intention of how the code is written, right? And in this space, as this is determined, and the reason why you're here is because that type of a sign is not allowed in this area, right?
When you say this type of sign, you mean?
A freestanding
sign.
sign is considered like, is a monument sign, not typically allowed in this area.
Right, any freestanding sign.
Any freestanding sign, right? And that is why we're talking about, section, what is it, G2, what is this, 40517 G2 is the issue at hand,
Yep.
which is what Eric, flagged. So, because of the pre-existing, status of the structure, it typically, we wouldn't, under our new code, we wouldn't see buildings that far set back from the street in this transept, right? Obviously, a pre-existing building, we have to deal with that, like, there's understanding there. What I would like to propose, and I'd like to hear the board's, feedback on this, is that we consider this an area variance on the placement of a pedestrian-focused sign. And if we look at pedestrian-oriented signs under 40517E, there are a number of different signs that are allowed, and those would be allowed in this particular transect. Projecting signs is the one that I'm focusing on, which is the closest variant to what we're looking at. So if you look at that section, it's number B or letter B under that space. Typically, that sign would be mounted to the building and overhanging, right?
Correct.
What my thought process is that if you, the applicant can consider meeting all the rest of the criteria for the projecting sign, right? Which would actually require the sign to be very slightly smaller than what it is proposed right now. Because we do have to give the minimum variance required in order to like satisfy the need, right? So what we can do is give an area variance on the placement of a projecting sign, allowing it to be on a post in the yard, in the space in which you have proposed.
Okay.
Right, as long as we can have the sign meet the rest of the criteria that exist already. So the only variance would be the placement of this otherwise conforming sign.
Understood, and
Yeah.
what are the?
So, the total, the one thing is that the total area, would be 12 square feet, and I think that yours would be slightly,
Currently, it's only,
7.79 square feet.
oh, okay, all right, I'm
So-
sorry, maybe I read something wrong, but, so then actually you would be fine as this
Right.
is, okay? Because yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind going larger, we didn't want to encroach on the sidewalk, obviously, but we know if you would wanted us to just move the sign back a little bit, the post back towards the building a little bit to make the sign a bit larger, that would be absolutely fine with my client and myself, if that helps get it closer to that 12, because I mean, obviously, you won't leave anything on the table if we don't have.
Well, so once you have the area variance for the placement of the sign.
Yes.
Right, we're considering it a projecting sign. You could do anything that's within the code that fits under projecting signs. So
Understood.
anything that you could do there, the only variance we're proposing. Now, what we can do as a board is add additional limits to that, right? Like if, the maximum height and width of a projecting sign is 6 feet by 5 feet, that seems obscenely large for this placement, right? So we can set limits on the size. I welcome any feedback on or thoughts on that, and also thoughts on my methodology for doing this. I don't, please discuss if anybody has any thoughts. So.
I think considering that it is a building that's set further back, that seems like a very reasonable variance.
it's not only further back, the red building, I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah.
I don't work anymore, so I've driven by all these things.
Yeah.
That red building is 12 feet closer to the road than the building next to it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
So, I mean, to have a sign on a building that's set farther back than the building you're driving by is,
Yeah, I mean, that's why this property is unique, like in that way, right, so,
And there's freestanding signs on both ends of the same road.
Yeah, well, those are pre-existing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, I know part of the criteria, if I'm correct, for projecting sign that it cannot swing, is that correct?
That's currently correct, but right now there is a proposal to modify the code.
Gotcha.
Change that.
So I guess, so where I'm leading to
Yeah.
is, would I be able to keep it as swinging? With the fact that that might be changing to allow that again?
So if what Matt is saying is true and happens, what you might want to do is just wait to put it in until that happens.
Right. Wait to install or wait to continue on with the sign permit procedure?
So if we give the variance for this space, for this, to make it a projecting sign, right? Then if it's swinging, then it would get flagged for needing another variance, right?
Right, which was.
So, I mean, you could, either come up with a way to make it not swing for the current period of time, or just wait until they make that change, and then you'll already have the variance for the placement. So as soon as that change happens,
Yeah.
there will be no other variance needed.
So, understood, so basically, I would just need to hold on the permitting process until that would go through and then complete the permitting process,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. So, I mean,
Or you can just add an L bracket to the sign.
Right.
yeah, if you wanted to tether it temporarily,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like that might be fine.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Even though he would want a swinging sign, why would you want that when, weather comes and things gonna go back and forth and
Yeah,
why
so,
not keep it tethered?
so tethering it actually does complicate the installation process because you have wind load that with a swinging sign, the wind is supposed to come to the sign, the sign's supposed to move slightly, the wind's supposed to go underneath it, and then the sign comes back to place. When you hard fast something like that, you basically have a sail that doesn't have anywhere to go. So that's part of the problem why I'm guessing they're probably trying to potentially adjust the code. for
That's
this.
precisely why.
Exactly, okay, so, and we've been conforming to that, I've been making a lot of signs that we're doing hard fasten as per the code,
Mhm.
but this one also,
Yeah.
so that's really the main reason, and really when it comes to sign installation and production, if you keep the mounting points as close as possible to the bracket, you minimize the lateral movement, which is really the killer for signs breaking apart and
Yeah.
stuff, so if it's just one direction, that's what you really want.
Mhm.
High winds, not really what you do for super high winds,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so many people I see put these chains like a foot long,
Yeah.
and the sign is going all over the place, and they wonder why. It's like, no, so we could really tight junction on that on purpose, but realistically, we could find a way to temporarily fasten it, to keep it from swinging in the interim until that code would change there potentially, so I'm fine with that as from coming from.
All right, so then, anybody else have any other thoughts on this? All right, so, let's just go through the punch list. Well, I guess actually, since we left we don't have any other questions for the applicant, I'll entertain a motion to close it.
Well, just,
Oh, sure.
based on the distances, so that we actually know what area.
We do, 172 inches. That is the distance from the face of the porch? Is that
Correct,
what
yeah,
that
it
is?
looks like it's going to the support here, but it is in the
I
face.
did the math, it's about 25 feet to the face of the porch from the road,
Yeah.
which is over the 20.
Yeah, so it would be,
All right,
Yeah.
and then just how far is it from the side?
oh, that's also marked here, but
Yeah.
we really only need one fixed distance, right? If we know I guess,
There's a bunch of criteria, and some of it.
This looks like a probably answer all the questions. We have multiple measurements for all of that.
oh, wait, all right,
Yeah.
now I do get, you're right, so that's, I guess I didn't read this right. It's 172 inches from the sidewalk there, but what is the distance where the actual post is?
That's right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
51 inches.
51 inches from the sidewalk. So then we can just, 121 inches from the porch. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because we need those, we're gonna have, that's gonna have to be part of the variance. So it's,
Which that red house is probably 12 feet closer to the road than the house we're talking about. building, not a house.
You don't even know when that was built.
Yeah.
It's built a long time ago.
And actually, if you look at it, the red house is not perpendicular to the road. It's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's old, you know,
There's that many.
old cities, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through the criteria real quick. Area variance, let's close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to close the public.
I'll make a motion to close the
All
public
right,
hearing.
thank you.
I'll second.
All right. All right, all in favor? All right. All right, so in discussion, well, we could create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood by allowing this variance. I'm in the opinion of no, anyone else?
No.
Yeah. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant be achieved by some method, feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. I think that the pre-existing, state of the building makes this perfectly reasonable,
Accommodation.
Yeah, are we in agreement? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is area variance substantial? I don't know that opinion.
No.
And, will, have, adverse environmental impacts?
No.
I don't think so. And is it self-created? No, they didn't build the building, so no. All right, so with that, I'm gonna reframe this one more time, and then I'll entertain a motion to say what the grant of variance based on this. So zoning board of appeals will, consider this an area variance of 4517E. Pedestrian-oriented sign, considering this a pedestrian-oriented projecting sign, which is subsection B.
There will be two variances, subsection B4, which is the distance from the building
Yeah.
to the beginning, and then subsection B5, which is the projection of the sign to the building or the wall.
Okay. Yeah, all right, I get that. Well, I don't, no, does it need? Because the projection is that, those dimensions are relative to the sign, and it's not gonna be higher than the parapet of the.
B5 is extend more than 5 feet from the building wall. So even though, so there's B4 and B5. So distance from the building wall to the sign, that's the 1.5 feet, and then extending the sign shall not extend more than 5 feet. See?
This is what happens when I print it from a different spot.
And so there's B4.
5, stabilize not to swing, so we're not,
Alright, so yeah, this is not what is currently on the code.
all right, so give me this. See, that's what happens when we print out more than one version of our code. All right, let's clarify and make sure that we have the right thing. Okay. So it is $17 B. B4 and B5. Okay. Okay. So I propose that we consider this sign an area variance of section 40517E, subsection B, and there's two subsections, 4 and 5, that would both get variances. For the maximum distance from building wall to sign must not exceed 1 foot 6 inches, and I propose we have our variance to be that becomes 10 feet. So that would allow 120 inches from the building to the post.
What was it, 172 inch?
No, it's 172 from the porch to the sidewalk. Yes, I got confused because it's overlapping, and so you gotta subtract out the 51 on the other side, so,
Why would you subtract the 51 from this number?
because this is the distance from the porch to the sidewalk, not to the post. We have to identify where the post is.
I got you.
Yeah, so that dimension's missing, but we can just get it if we subtract that. Yeah. So section 4 would be a variance of allowing 10 feet. You might want to just make sure that I'm giving you the right number.
Okay, yep.
So just, you might want to like double check on your drawing.
Move the post back 1 inch.
I knew it back when.
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, I guess maybe we want to make it a little bit more than that. Well, let's make it 10 and a half feet, because we got to give you a
Well, you
space.
already have 18 inches, right? So if we're given a variance of 10 feet, then basically they can go 138 inches.
Oh, okay.
To the post, correct?
Yeah, to the post or technically where the sign.
Maximum distance
Okay.
from wall sign must not exceed 1 foot 6 inches.
From the
So we're giving it a variance to add to that, not to replace that in the way that reads.
Yes.
Okay.
No more than 120 inches.
Okay, yeah, all right, so then, if we give a variance of 10 feet, then that gives you, 11 and a half feet maximum from the building to work with.
Got it.
So would it be, so that's 172 minus 51. Do you want to give a couple extra, so like up to no more than 170?
Well, that would put it right on the sidewalk, I don't think we want that. Yeah. So that gives an 18-inch space to move the post around.
Perfect.
Right, yeah, so, and then 40517E, subsection B5, the sign shall not extend more than 5 feet from the building wall and within 2 feet of the curb line. So the total, we're talking about 51 inches. So we're talking about 100 and, we're gonna make that 164 inches, all right? That would be the maximum distance from the outside of the sign to the,
Yes, and there's 12 inches from the sidewalk.
yeah,
To the sign. Right. Or no, 8 inches. Or 10.
166, right?
Yeah.
What did I say before?
You said 164.
Oh, no, 166, is what would meet this drawing.
Well, right to the edge of the sidewalk
Mhm.
is 132 and a half inches. So how far do we want it in that way?
No,
From the curb we're talking, right?
oh, from the curb, you're right, yep, see, good catch.
Right now, it's 11 feet to the curb.
Mhm.
So if you have this right here, this 6 inches, it's 11 and a half feet from the curb.
Yeah,
So we don't need a variance in that direction because it can go up to 2 feet to the curb under.
So we don't have to worry about that because it can be, but we need to be able to allow it to extend more than 5 feet from the building.
You're correct, once 166 inches.
Yeah, all right, so, yeah, so we're gonna get a variance of 166 inches to the projection. All right, so I am going to, now that we have that,
That's gonna
So,
cut down the size of the sign, because you don't have that much room here.
no, it's the projected from this space to this space is the dimension that we're talking about. And that, according to this drawing, is 166 inches.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, and this space to this can't be less than 2 feet, but it's way more than 2 feet. Yeah, so that, we don't need a variance for that, so that's already there. It's this distance that we have to give a variance for. So from the building to the outside of the sign can't be more than 166 inches, which is what your drawing is, right? That's what your drawing says?
Correct.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, so I will reframe that one more time, without all of the, reframing numbers. So, I propose we give a variance for 17E subsection B4. Are you, okay, we're changing it again? Okay. Just one.
So this is proposing more than that,
Mhm.
more than this, so the variance would be subtracting this from that.
Yeah, but we're not doing that so that there is room of 18 inches, so they still have the 18,
Then potential, okay.
they still have the 18 inches of room to move it closer to the building if they want to, right?
All right, so just use the no more than 122 inches, no more than 166.
Yeah, so that,
And then, I don't know if you want to read, there's certain language you can change, but just want to make things clear for
Mhm.
the building department. If we just say it on the record,
Mhm.
then you get further draft. Basically, you're seeing these whereas and the pros and cons of this.
oh, okay.
And I can read this stuff if you want, you can adopt it as part of the.
Oh, I mean, I can read this out right now, yeah, because we do want to specify that we are, considering it a pedestrian oriented sign,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, all right. Now it's nice enough to type this all up really nicely, so.
making you just,
Yeah.
I mean, just has to go around with the sign.
Yeah,
And then
perfect.
the rest of it, I can email to her.
Okay, so. We know that, freestanding signs are prohibited in the T5N zoning district, which is why we're here. So we are looking at a variance, proposing a variance to consider this a pedestrian-oriented sign, and a replacement of a pedestrian-oriented sign. I think it's really important that this is a pedestrian sign, and it will otherwise conform to everything in the pedestrian-oriented signs space, of the code. So, being that it's pedestrian-oriented sign, there are area variances required in order to do that. And that it would be variance to code 405-17E 5B4. What's permitted is 1 foot 6 inches. We are proposing no more than 122 inches, which is a variance. Oh, sorry. We're proposing a variance of 120 inches. So they still have the 18 inches. So that's a variance of 120 inches from the 1 foot 6 inches. And then in section 40517E5B5, what is permitted from the building to the outside of the sign is 5 feet. And we are proposing the variance to be no more than 166 inches. So that would be the total distance between the face of the building, the face of the porch, and the outside of the sign on the street side. So this is a type 2 action. You remember all these things? Okay, all right, so, yeah.
There's a type 2 action, so there's no need for any further seeker review. And then just go through the criteria, she'll make the notes, and then if you want, I put some potential conditions. Should be fixed too, but I just use this stuff in. Make sure that it's clear that it's going to be fixed too, so those securities in the ground
Oh, yeah.
shall not exceed the dimensions in there.
Okay.
Shall not be the dimensions set forth in the dimensions on these lines, which shall otherwise be in accordance with the standards of within there.
Okay, yeah, I would,
So if you want to change any wording in there, just make sure it's safe on the record. Otherwise, or take any of those conditions out.
I think the only thing, I don't feel the need to restrict like this type of bracket as long as it otherwise conforms. Does anybody like, we could write this and say this, it's at our discretion. We could write this to be very specific to say it's gotta be exactly what it's
non-swinging sign, but
Well, it already can't be a non-swinging sign, but that's a different thing that we'll already work on. We can outline all the details of this and say that that's the only thing that they can do, right? Or we can say that they can do any other thing that would be allowed under a projecting sign as the code is written.
I think that would be better, because then if they change the code,
On the posts, yes, we will make that, yeah. The one addition to that, just because it would not be assumed, is that we should specify that it needs to be attached to a post. So be it further resolved that the following conditions apply to the variance, that the sign will be attached to an 82-inch, I would say, a post no taller than 82 inches.
Securely fastened in the ground, or securely.
Yeah, securely set in the ground, yes. Yeah. Yeah, so be it further resolved that the following conditions shall apply to the variance. The sign shall be affixed to a post securely set in the ground, no taller than 82 inches. And the sign shall not deviate, otherwise deviate with the accord, with the standards set forth in 40517E. Because the other dimensions don't care about it. Yeah. All right. Are we in agreement on that? So does anybody have any questions on what it is that we're doing? Because Matt typed this up fantastically well. So as long as we know, the key things is it's going to be 10 feet, 166 inches maximum from the building, and a post no taller than 82 inches. we'll get that resolution typed up and we can sign it. I will entertain a motion to approve this variance based on the criteria that we discussed.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second? And
I'll second it. You guys gonna start talking up?
Found a second.
Okay, not a second, there we go.
I'm still not sure if I'm allowed to. I'll-
No, yeah, I guess that, yeah,
I'm an alternate.
I guess, yeah, we only need one alternate to have a full board today, so, you know, but anyway, so Donna's second, all in favor? Great, so that is done, sorry for all the running around, but, we got it figured out, and hopefully we will get some clarification in this particular thing of the code very soon.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yes, thank you, and we have no new business,
Be there, Mike.
so,
Have a good night.
I would like to propose one more quick, motion that, we ask Amy to send a letter to the Common Council, requesting that the zoning board of appeals is directly informed formally of any changes to our zoning code that is adopted by the Common Council. Because currently, we have to look that up, and there have been a few things that I missed. Yeah, anyway, if everyone is down with that, and.
I'll second it.
All right, well, yeah, Carl, second, all right, going,
Your motion, you second.
yeah,
Sure.
all in favor?
Aye.
And, how about a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All right, second, all right,
I seconded.
Yep.
and, yeah, all right, thank you very much, everyone. I am running the hell out of here.
I don't blame you.
Um,
Enjoy the concert.
Yeah, well, maybe she'll still be single.